యూట్యూబ్ యూట్యూబ్ లింక్ ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయండి. మేడం సైలెంట్ గా ఉన్నాను మేడం, దయచేసి ఏమనుకోకండి. వాయిస్ రిపీట్ అవుతుంది, హమ్మింగ్ వస్తుంది. నేను ఇంకా మేడం యూట్యూబ్ సే ఎస్ ఆర్ నో, లైవ్ వస్తుందా? జమీరా మేడం వచ్చారు. ఫోన్ సైలెన్స్ లో పెట్టండి. ఫోన్ సైలెన్స్ లో పెట్టండి. ఓకే కదా? విజయ మేడం రా, ఇట్రా అండి, కుర్చీ వేసుకోండి ఇక్కడ. ఈ రెండోది మీరు మార్కెటింగ్ చేయొచ్చు, రావాలి.
నేను వెళ్తాను ఇంట్రక్షన్ ఎక్కువ, ఎందుకంటే నాకు ప్రాబ్లం కింద పడిపోతాను పేరు, నాకు అందుకని
మేడం మైక్ ఆన్ చేసి ఉన్నాను, దయచేసి మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నాను మేడం అందరూ. సార్ వీడియో అవసరం లేదు సార్, వీడియో ఆఫ్ చేసాను సార్. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్. బ్యాచ్ 1 మీకు సపోర్ట్ ఎవరు మేడం? బాగుందా మేడం అరేంజ్మెంట్స్? మేడం ఇటు నుంచి ఫోటోలు తీయడం. సార్ దయచేసి వీడియోస్ ఆపేయవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను సార్. సార్ వీడియోని ఆపేయండి సార్ దయచేసి. ఎలా మళ్ళీ మాత్రం దాన్ని సార్ దయచేసి మీ వీడియోని మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి సార్. సార్ దయచేసి మీ వీడియోని మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి.
రైట్ జరగాలి, ఇంకొంచెం రైట్ జరగాలి.
సార్ పన్నగంపల్లి వెంకటేశ్వరుడి.
ఓకే సార్, మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి సార్ దయచేసి.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్,
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ
వీడియోస్ని కూడా మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి సార్ దయచేసి.
సార్. సార్
వీడియోని కూడా మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి. మీరు సిన్సియర్గా డిసిప్లిన్గా కూర్చుంటే ఓకే సార్, నో ప్రాబ్లం సార్.
ఓకే సార్, ఓకే.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
ఓకే.
మేడం బ్యాచ్ 1 బ్యాచ్ 2 ఫస్ట్ లింక్ ఎవరు కనెక్ట్ అయింది మేడం? ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం వస్తే ఎప్పుడే రైజ్ చేయండి హ్యాండ్. మీరు కూడా సెకండ్ లింక్. నేను మీరు సైలెంట్ కూర్చున్నట్టు అర్థమైనట్టే.
I really liked these two LinkedIn profiles, which I've quoted as examples. So this person, look, the face is clearly visible, and he is the only person, and it appears very, very professional, no distracting background. Same thing with this person. So he's using in the background, he's using like to educate people more about his workplace, and how his workplace is rated, how it is good, and it's the most sought after company. Do that. I will also, after going through this section, I will also open my own LinkedIn profile and show. This is an example. I'm not using that right away up front, since I wanted to show this how you build it from scratch. So another way to use the background is this lady here. She's into probably public speaking. She's speaking on a public platform, and she used that picture. So the picture speaks is 1,000 words. So that I can
Madam?
automatically see that she is into public speaking. She has already spoken on a public platform. Maybe she's good at public speaking. That is the message you're conveying. It is about conveying about your personality, and you could use the background in that manner. And now, moving on to the different features of LinkedIn, we already discussed the open to work feature. I recommend if you're a student and you're just looking for work, this is becoming very popular, and I recommend you use that. So these are the various sections of LinkedIn. and we will see what each section is and how you can use it. So I switched to this dummy profile that I've created, but I can also switch log out of this, go to my own profile where all these sections are completely filled in.
ఎనీథింగ్ ప్రాబ్లం మేడం? మేడం ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ మేడం, పద్మిని మేడం, పీపీటీని పిన్ చేయండి మేడం.
Sorry.
పీపీటీని పిన్ చేయండి. ప్లీజ్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ పీపీటీ పిన్.
I don't know what that is. I'll try to look what that is.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం.
I think in the Padmini, can you hear me? This is Shruti.
Yeah.
In the link itself, the video link, there's like this blue pin. But you click on that, I think everybody will see your screen. I think now it's toggling between multiple screens.
That the background work experience, will go through each one of them with more a focus on the skills section and the licenses, certifications, and the recommendation section, which you can use, the students can use, especially those who are graduating from college. So I have here an introduction section, about section, which talks about the work I do. So again, it says that I'm very passionate about product management. I'm a product manager. That's what I do, market developing for product management. And how we can use innovation and linking to the various needs of the customer challenges. So it just talks about my work and my core competencies. So I want to talk a little bit about why I use these words and how it's relevant to how recruiters search for LinkedIn profiles. So for example, I go here and I want to search for a data analyst. I'm just taking that as an example. So I come up with like a various list of profiles, and how that happens is that they have this word data analyst mentioned somewhere in their profile. And I think higher preference if they mention it right away in their title. So if a recruiter is searching for a particular role, that is how they search. So if you mention like I want somebody looking for a marketing strategist or somebody involved in new products commercialization to look for me. So instead of using my own title of a market developer, which is not a very popular title, I use this, which conveys better what I do. And again, it's your choice on what you use. It is good to mention these keywords because all these technical sales, market analysis, competitive intelligence, and communication strategy, these are all the various things that I do in my role. So the next section is the experience. If you are a student and if you do not have real work experience, you could also use the internships or projects you did as work experience, and you can label it appropriately by giving that a title. Title, you can say that this is a student project, and you can still mention the details of the project itself here. And next, the education section just talks about the various places you are associated with, you've studied. This is good in terms of if you have a strong alumni network. For example, IIT Kharagpur or my business school where I study now, they have a strong like alumni network, and I myself am on the alumni board of University of Cincinnati. So people who went to the same university tend to help each other, and that is helpful in terms of if you can choose to mention whichever university or place you studied here. It need not be the most recent one, but it can be anything that has the strongest alumni network. Then, if you have volunteering experiences, LinkedIn has a section to mention that. But again, as I said, I want to focus more on the skills and endorsement section, what this is. So again, like this ties back to the keywords of how to make your profile, give more visibility to your profile. Um, you can go here and add any skill you want. You can delete or you can add any skill you want. Um, and that also helps your profile pop up when they search for that. For example, I have certain like data science skills like Tableau or writing like basic SQL queries or these other things that I've learned. So they help in increasing the visibility of my profile if a recruiter is looking for a person who has experience in that. And endorsements. Once you have a network, it is not possible to do this when your profile is new, but once you have a network, um, you can you can endorse others, and others can endorse you as well, and that is how it's a way of other people confirming that they have the skill. You have the skill. So people know that the skill like process simulations. Other people who have worked where I have done process simulations endorse me, and so on. So and again, I have mentoring listed as a skill. So anyone can endorse me for mentoring if you have seen me mentoring. Even to build credibility, there are various ways to build trust and credibility with the recruiters or people who want to hire you. LinkedIn again is a strong credibility builder because there are people who can write recommendations. In terms of mentoring, I have these two. Like this person says that okay, helped out in the application phase. This is again the student mentoring part I do where I help in improving the essays to get admission in universities abroad. And this is like she studies in a very top rated institute, and I'm very fortunate that I could be associated with her. So it just speaks about the things I have done, and it also helps in building your online presence. Once you have all this built, and you can add people, like again, you can just search for a person and send them a request. I I can just search for any random person. I'm already connected to Shruti, but let me pick like someone I'm not. Again, this means that this first and second, what that means is first means that I'm already connected to the person. Second means I'm not connected to this person. So what I can do is just click connect. That's what you need to know the name. Just search for the name and click connect. That's how you network on LinkedIn. So you can send requests, and then once they accept the request, they are in your first circle of connections. So switching back to the PowerPoint. Can you see the PowerPoint that is being presented again since I switched screens?
Yes, Tatmina.
Yeah. So we covered all the things and their importance in again getting you hired. So I want to just mention we are almost towards the end of the LinkedIn profile building. I'll probably wrap up in about 10 minutes. I want to also show the other features. So what you can do is, like I said, grow your network, add people you know, so that they can see your projects, where you have studied, everything, your skills. You can send people a request, and this is you can send a request to anybody. You can I do receive requests from people in India and vice versa. So yeah, so you're not bound by any geographical boundaries here, and you can also join various groups. What this is, for example, if you want to just learn about data visualization. There are a lot of data visualization groups on LinkedIn which talk about how to just do it better, or if you have a question, you can go post on groups, and people will answer your questions. And this is all for free. You don't have to spend even a penny here. Um, the other thing is, if you have a great idea, if you want to write about something, you can start a post, and you can write here, and that also goes as a thread, and you have a way of creating um, like audience for your ideas. So there is another section called jobs, where you can search for jobs just the way I search for data analyst. You can, instead of searching for people, you can search for jobs as well, and you can apply. So that is what it is. And last but not the least, I'm sure with any online presence, people are even myself to some extent worried about privacy. If putting all your details on internet is the right thing for you to do. So there is a way. LinkedIn provides you features to show more or less. You can control exactly how much you can show. So you can toggle with these buttons and hide any features you don't want to show. It's completely under your control what you can or don't want to do, what you want or don't want to do. So here you go here, edit your public profile, and then I can just um, switch this off, and people will not be able to see my profile. And the same thing. So I can also switch people from just not see my picture. So that is also possible. So if you are worried about privacy, again, LinkedIn features allow you enough freedom to control. They give you good control over how what you can or what you want or don't want to show. So if you're worried about public presence, you can always play with these features and control it. I just want to end with a few do's and don'ts of networking. Again, using professional language that is for anything you post on the internet. But again, this is a strictly professional networking social platform. Use professional language, and even when you write, if you do spell errors or write incorrect grammar, again, everything conveys a message about you. It's a reflection on your personality. So be very careful about that. Um, for second degree connections, you may request an introduction because you can connect with anybody. But for people to be more feel like inclined to connect with you, you may request an introduction. Again, do not stalk people. That is not good on any platform. Respect others' privacy and networking rules. So as in how you say that you know someone or requesting proper introductions. That is what it refers to. So since I showed you the posts, like people go on and write a lot of comments. So remember that if you choose to do that, whatever you write lives up there forever. So I mean, you can delete it, but again, if you don't delete that, it will whatever you post will lives on if you don't delete it. So people will read and also form an impression about you. And again, online profile can do a lot of good, but also a lot of harm if not managed appropriately. Always remember that. And your online profile can create a great first impression. As in, if you're going for an interview, even if before you show up for the interview, by looking at your LinkedIn profile, they can understand what kind of interests you have, or your volunteering activities or your zest for learning can be communicated to your LinkedIn profile. Even myself, I've been through a lot of interviews. We get an introduction for who the interviewer is, but I always make sure I search for them on LinkedIn and then learn a little bit more about on where they've worked or where they have studied, which again helps you learn more about the interviewer, which helps you in being better prepared. So these are the various ways you can use LinkedIn. Now, with that, I came to an end, but I want to show like just one feature which is resume related. So LinkedIn also has one feature you can use where your LinkedIn profile can become a resume. So build a resume or save PDF profile. So what this does is it takes your entire LinkedIn profile and makes it into a PDF document which you can share. So or you can just build a resume out of your LinkedIn profile. Since we are going to talk about, so you see how it just converted my profile into a resume format. There is this cool feature as well. That I think is a good segue into Shruti's section on building resumes and online platforms where you can search jobs. With that, I hand it back. Right? Elizabeth?
Ask.
Okay, do you want me to share the screen or would you
Yes,
be
yes,
sharing?
Vanessa, please.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shruti, you can share the screen. I'll stop sharing.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hello. 1 minute. 1 minute. Please, Shruti, madam, please. 1 minute.
Please, Shruti madam, please.
Thank you very much, Padmini
Sure,
madam.
sure.
Thank you very much, Padmini madam.
Due to the spam update,
Due to the spam
at the time of starting,
at the time of starting,
due to spam,
due to
we
spam,
could not relay this presentation
presentation
properly. For that, we
properly.
are very
For that, we
sorry.
are very sorry.
Now, I
Now,
would like to
I would like
present
to
vote of
present vote of
thanks
thanks
by
by
B.
B.
Sulochana
Sulochana
madam,
madam,
lecturer in
lecturer in
English.
English.
Please.
Please.
Good morning to all. This is Padmini Lingaraju ma'am. I feel very glad to meet you on this online platform. Let me introduce myself. I am B. Sulochana, lecturer in English, is Government Degree College for Women. Ma'am, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks to you on the occasion of uh, is through LinkedIn and upbuild. At the outset, you have informed us about your passion statement, which obviously motivates the young minds towards being generous and charitable. In addition, you have initiated your presentation the overview of LinkedIn, crystal clear way to minute students to make their own LinkedIn profile. I'm so grateful to have you in this webinar, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sulochana garu. Now I request NJC madam, she mathematics to introduce Shruti Toti.
Audio ready. Audio.
Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Wait a moment. We need
I
to.
cannot hear you.
Speaker.
Ma'am,
1 minute.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
She's
She is going to present again. Sorry for the inconvenience.
certificates. So good morning to all. The next speaker I'm going to introduce is Shruti Gopri. She is a management graduate from Indian Institute of Business, Hyderabad. She is currently working as a management consultant with Deloitte Company, New York City, USA. She has also worked at companies JP Morgan Chase, 24/7 Innovation Labs. For the last 6 years, she has been giving coaching to students on career development, resume writing, essay writing, and preparing students for interviews. She has 5 years of work experience in India as trainer in higher education job opportunities specific to India. Now she is going to give a presentation on employment opportunities through LinkedIn and upbuild resume. Though the topic is same as the one already presented by Padmini Garu, Shruti is going to present it in a different dimension. I wish you all the success with the completion of the session. Now I request Shruti to start her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
ఓకే మేడం ఓకే మేడం
Okay. So before I start, I just wanted to say, Patni has given us a very detailed explanation on the importance of LinkedIn, which is very valid. Another perspective from my side is that for all the students, especially, think of LinkedIn as how you have your Instagram or your Twitter accounts, right? To showcase your digital presence to the outside world. So, similar to that, LinkedIn is to showcase your professional presence to all the recruiters, to all the companies out there. So, if you want to search for a job, or you want any company to look at your skill set, what you have done in your professional life, LinkedIn is the only way nowadays. So that's how much LinkedIn is important, and I'm sure you've gone through the material which Padmini has mentioned and make the best use of the LinkedIn profiles and create your digital profile online. From that way, I would want to segue into my next topic, which is job portals. So in India, you know the website naukri.com. You can always search jobs through LinkedIn. But I want to give you another perspective in terms of showing you what all other portals are also available in India, which are very less known but very effective. So if you create your digital profile, build your resume, build a very strong resume, and look for jobs in these profiles, you would definitely try to get yourself recruited into not only startups, MNCs, depending on what kind of job you're looking for. So I provided a list of some very good job portals apart from Naukri.com, which I'm sure you guys already know. But do you want to add anything to this?
Oh, hey. So I want to say that when you search for a job online on any portal, what is important is your recognition of the keywords. So if it's the same job, can have different keywords, it can have different titles. So the homework that you have to do while doing a search online is um, what, what are the job descriptions, and for the same job descriptions, go through the job description and look at the keywords, how you can different ways to search the job. So that is a lot of homework, and I recognize that when I was searching for a job is a job in itself, if you know what I mean.
Correct.
So I just want to add that if you are very prepared, your job search becomes more
moving on, the next topic I want to take you through is building a resume. We all know what is a resume, so I don't need to stress on what exactly is a resume. It's a document which basically has all your professional experience, all your skill set, what you've done professionally from your school time to your college, all in one place, right? That is a resume. I don't need to tell you more details about that. But why a resume is important is what I'll take you through. Because resume is the only document which will help you tell the outside world what you've done from your schooling to the time you're applying for the job, right? It's the only document which has all your skill sets, all the projects you've done, all the work you've done, maybe in an internship or your job, all in just one document. And that's the only tool for you to get an interview in a company. That's how important resume is. I think the amount of time you spend in preparing for an interview, you need to spend a lot more time than that in preparing your resume. That's from a student or an applicant perspective. Let's see the perspective of the recruiter. The recruiter, there's research to tell that a recruiter, which means a company, spends on an average of only 6 seconds to look at your resume. What do we understand by that? We understand that our resume should be so good that in that 6 seconds, a person should understand that you're a good candidate for that role, right? Which means your resume should uh, tell everything you've done and in a very good, very effective way, so that that recruiter or that company chooses you, right? So let's go into what are the best practices in making a resume. First, what you've done, what should you do in order to make a resume? You should make a list, like open a Word document or open an Excel sheet, make a list of all the projects you've done, all the work experience from a small thing to big thing. Make a big list of everything you've done from your schooling to now. Make a list of all those things and then start preparing. Then you'll understand what you've done in your professional career, what you want to highlight in order for a job you're applying or for a higher education you're applying, anything. You'll understand then after making a list of what all you've done in your life, in your professional career. That's the first step. Next step, let's say you want to apply for a job. So in the job portals we've listed or through LinkedIn, you look for a job. You like that job, right? Then open the job description. As Padmini said, open the job description and see exactly what the job description is asking you. What are the keywords? What are the skills they're asking? And try to highlight if you have those skill sets, if you've done similar work, what the job description is asking, try to highlight that in your resume. That way, the company, even if the company is looking at your resume for 6 seconds, if you highlight those keywords, if you highlight whatever is required in that job description, if that is already highlighted in your resume, they will immediately pick your resume. That's the universal truth of all preparing a resume for yourself. Let's go into more details about resume preparation. So first point I said is make a list of all your projects. Second point I said is identify the keywords from the job description of the role you want to choose. The third point is collect samples of resumes of that particular role or that particular company you want to go into, right? Collect different samples. For example, if you want to apply for uh, let's say data analyst, collect 10, 15 examples of data analysts resumes. You can search online, just type in data analyst for this company. You will find resumes. Learn from those resumes. How did they structure those resumes? How is a data analyst resume is written? Learn, and if you see 10, 12 resumes, you'll automatically gain a perspective. Automatically, all those words, how to format your resume will come to you. That's the third step you need to do is get inspiration from similar resumes. And fourth, you start out writing your different points, your experience into your resume. So let's go into how to write a particular point. the star method which I highlighted here, let's go into the example which I mentioned. So the star method is that whenever you write a point, let's say you're writing a point about your work experience, star method is describe that work experience as a situation, task, action, and result. Always tell a situation, why you did that kind of a work, and what work did you do, what what is the result which came out of that work, right? Then the recruiter who's looking at your resume will be like, okay, this person has done this job, and this change he brought about in that company, and this much is the quantitative change he got by doing that particular role. It becomes crystal clear about your role, and then it becomes very easy for the recruiter to understand what you've done. Let's go through the example. So this person wrote, led a 8-person team in the design and development of a 10 million new technology project and finished 1 week ahead of schedule with a saving of 10%. This is one point in an example point which I gave you for the resume. So what I don't want to obviously say this is the best way, but what I want to highlight what's happening here in this point. So what did he say? He said led a 8% team. It's a very clear saying. Instead of writing I led a big team, they wrote I led a 8% team. Which team is that? It's the design and development team. And to highlight that the design and development team is big, so you said a design and development team of a 10 million new technology project. So it's a big project. So the recruiter now understood that it's a big project. And now what is the result you got it? The result you got in is you finished 1 week ahead of schedule, and the quantitative result you got in is with a saving of 10%. So this point is so clear. If the recruiter sees, he'll be like, okay, he led a 8% team, which is a big team, of a very big technology project, and he got in saving of 10%. Must be a good candidate. So that's how you need to make your points crisp, to the point, tell exactly what you did, and also try to quantify your benefit by doing that project or by having that work experience. That will help a lot in getting your resume highlighted.
I think there was a problem in people seeing the PPT. It somehow was not visible. Just reshare your screen.
Okay. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now?
No, I cannot.
How about now?
Nothing is popping up.
Okay.
Shall I just share on your behalf?
Yeah, that's fine. So are you able to see? Okay. I think go ahead and share.
So this person, Subhadra, can you please stop sharing your screen? I think your screen got shared and it was interfering with the presentation. So if you can stop sharing your screen, we can continue with this seminar.
Stop presenting and put
Ma'am, Subhadra ma'am, can you please stop presenting because we are not able to share your screen since you are presenting.
Masha, please.
Want me to present now?
పెట్టుకోండి మైక్ పెట్టుకోండి మ్యూట్ పెట్టుకోండి ఏం చెప్తాను
Yeah.
ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్
Okay, go ahead. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, can everybody see the screen now?
Madam, it's not shareable, madam. Yeah, it's not visible, madam.
It is visible now?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the first slide.
Yes.
One where resume best practices, 1 out of
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think I got it now. It took time for it to load. Okay, I think I just went through the first example. I'll take you through another example as well. So the next example is led a cross-functional team of 8 in the research, design, and feature development of innovation software. Launched 1 week ahead of schedule with a saving of 10%. It's the same thing. So it's clearly telling you what kind of team did he lead, what work did that person do, and what is the result out of that action which that person did. So at the end of the day, I think the best way to structure any point regarding your project or regarding your work experience you've done is best to explain the situation, explain the task or action you've done in that job or in that project, and then explain, if possible, in a quantitative way how much benefit you've gotten by taking up that project or doing that work experience. I think we can move on to the next screen. Padmini.
Yep.
Thank you. And also, the next important point is starting your sentences of your resume with action words. I gave you a link for you to go through a list of action words, but to give you an example, it's like how we saw in the previous slide. Led a team, developed so and so project. So all these are called action words, which means to say that you've done that action, right? So that will emphasize that you have done that project, you have done that action, and makes your resume more visible to that recruiter. The next point I want to take you through is looking at the job description of the role and look for role specific keywords and try to include them in your resume. I covered this in the starting of the presentation as well, but I still want to highlight that because that's how important that is. If a job description is asking that you want management skills or any project related skills, if that job description is asking those skills or those kind of keywords, including those keywords in your resume will basically increase your chances of getting selected for a job or a higher education possibility. Is it still your screen, Padmini? I think I can see another screen. Yeah, I think now it's back. That's fine.
It's back. Okay.
Yeah.
లైవ్ స్ట్రీమ్ వస్తుందిగా 15 మంది
Last but not the least, I just wanted to say that have very clear and crisp in writing your resume points. Don't drag. Don't use vague words. Something like "I am very good in something." That's very vague. So give specific how good how much okay, get like that project. That's the. Sorry, I heard something.
Yeah, I think you can just continue.
Okay.
It must be somebody who had.
పర్సన్ రెజ్యూమ్ ఎలా తయారు చేయాలని దాని గురించి చెప్తున్నారు వాళ్ళకి ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ ఇచ్చినట్టే
Sure. So the last point I want to say is whenever you've prepared your resume, get it reviewed, look at that resume multiple times, do multiple iterations. After finishing writing your resume, look at other resumes and get inspiration from, try to tweak and make it, correct grammatical errors. Undergo multiple iterations, show them to your friends, show them to your mentors or your professors, and get them reviewed so that you get feedback and you can make your resume the best version before sending it to any recruiter. Because once you send the resume out, that is the only document which is getting you an interview. So make the best version of the resume and then send it to the recruiter. And the last tips for the resume is that do not ever make spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. That's a huge no-no. And don't have any unprofessional email addresses, unprofessional language, or poor formatting or layout design in your resume. Have a very simple formatting, clearly, concisely, and use bullets. Never use paragraphs in a resume because and use bullets and try maximum to stick one point to stick in one line. Don't extend it and make it two, three lines together. And I think do not focus your resume more on what you did in the job. Focus more in terms of after doing that job, what change happened, what accomplishment you achieved in that job. That will highlight the resume. I've Padmi, if you can go to the next screen, please. I've highlighted a couple of additional do's and don'ts for your review as well post this meeting, but more or less it speaks about the same thing.
Can I add a point here?
Definitely,
Shruti?
definitely.
So I think you know Shruti explained very well how to come up with an effective resume that showcases your skills, and also how to do that in a manner that quantifies your results. This slide is slightly repetitive, but I want to take your attention to point number 3. So you should know that resumes are not often reviewed. They are not reviewed by humans. Like there's not a person sitting and looking at your resume. Unfortunately, this may surprise you, but there is something called an application tracking system software. Or once you click on the apply button on an online job, it goes a software generates all the resumes. It parses all the content in the resumes and puts them into sections in the screen. So this is the application tracking system. So only after it passes that application tracking system does a real recruiter look at your resume.
Excuse me, madam.
So
Sorry for the interruption. డియర్ పార్టిసిపెంట్స్, దయచేసి అందరూ వినండి. మీరు ఇప్పుడు పద్మిని మేడం స్పీకర్గా ఉన్నారు. పద్మిని మేడం కిందే మీకు పీపీటీ కనపడుతుంది. ఆ పీపీటీ మీద క్లిక్ చేసి పిన్ అనే సింబల్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ పిన్ కొట్టుకుంటే మీకు ప్రజెంటేషన్ విజిబుల్ అవుతుంది. మీకు పిన్ అనే సింబల్ ఉంటుంది, గుండు పిన్నులాగా. ఆ పిన్ టు స్క్రీన్ అంటే మీకు పీపీటీ విజిబుల్ అవుతుంది. అంతేగాని విజిబుల్ ఉంది, అందరికీ విజిబుల్ అవుతుంది ఇక్కడ. మీరు పీపీటీని పిన్ చేసుకోండి, అప్పుడు మీకు అందరికీ విజిబుల్ అవుతుంది. దయచేసి మీరు గమనించగలరు. పద్మిని మేడం ఆన్లైన్లో ఉన్న వీడియో ప్లస్ పక్కనే కానీ దాని కిందే కానీ పీపీటీ విజిబుల్ కనపడుతుంది. దాన్ని పిన్ చేసుకోండి, మీకు విజిబుల్ బాగా కనపడుతుంది. ఇంకోటి స్మాల్ రిక్వెస్ట్, మీరు ఫోన్స్ అన్ని హారిజంటల్గా అంటే తెలుగులో చెప్పాలంటే అడ్డంగా పెట్టుకుంటే మీకు ఇంకా పీపీటీ క్లియర్గా ఉంటుంది. మీ ఫోన్స్ని హారిజంటల్గా మూవ్ చేసుకోండి. ఇట్ ఈస్ విజిబుల్ టు క్లియర్లీ. ఓకే మేడం, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ మేడం. సారీ ఫర్ ది ఇన్కన్వీనియన్స్ మేడం.
okay, no worries. So so it's important that you don't have a lot of high amount of formatting or unnecessarily complicated formats, because that can cause some problems for the application tracking system to extract your information. So you have to make it as simple and easy for the ATS or the application tracking system to read your information. That's how by optimizing your resume, that is how your resume comes on the top when a software screens it or a recruiter screens it. So and all these steps we have laid out are essentially for that end result. So with that, I just wanted to add that point. Go on.
If you can go to the next slide.
ఆడియో విజిబుల్ మేడం, ఆడియో క్లియర్.
in, uh, another important point is this slide is do not have unwanted white spaces fresh out of the chances of getting selected would be very less. I don't have any different 2 3 fonts, have maximum 1 to 2 fonts, have a clear
Laptop charger.
font across your resume, have one size, and and the format of arranging the resume should also be very clean. Don't have multiple tables merging into one another. Have a clean page. Just add simply what all points you have and what all points you want to show to the recruiter, and that's it. Keep reviewing it and make that resume very specific to that role you're applying. You might want to apply. The last thing I want to end this with is you might want to apply. You will apply for multiple jobs, right? And there might be 2 3 jobs where 2 3 jobs are different kinds of jobs. So you might want to make different resumes for different kind of jobs. I know your profile is the same. Whatever you've done, your project work is the same, but the way you write can be different for the different kind of jobs. Like for example, if you want to apply for a sales related job, your resume should focus on this completely different aspects. Whereas if you want to apply for example, a marketing related job, right? So it's better you tweak your resume for the role which you are applying. That's the
First దాంట్లో జాయిన్ అయ్యారా
last thing I want to
సెకండ్
say.
లింక్
And
ఏకి
I leave it up to you. Padmini, do you want to take questions now?
Yeah, before we take
సెకండ్
questions,
దాంట్లో
I
జాయిన్
just
అయ్యి
want to mention that there is a way for us to any questions. I have a Facebook page, so I'm sure Facebook is being used widely. So I have a Facebook page where you can come like the page and post questions. This is where you can follow up and connect for further like follow-ups. So with that, I'm open for taking questions. I'll stop sharing my screen and I'm open. Shruti and I can take questions.
Thank you very much, madam. Now I request Ms. Jamila madam, give vote of thanks to the ma'am. After that, we'll go for the question. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, all of you. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this special and beautiful morning. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Ruthi Tothireddy Garu for her enlightening and motivational guidance on resume best practices. I sincerely appreciate her wonderful efforts to reach and motivate young brains towards global employment opportunities with her motivational talk. The interaction with the students was really outstanding, ma'am. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. I hope that many students here will grab the opportunities very soon by using your
మేడం
guidance. Once again, we are very grateful to you, ma'am,
క్వశ్చన్
for
క్వశ్చన్
spending
మేడం
your splendid and valuable time for beneficial cause. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, one and all.
అంటే మీరు కొంచెం వీడియో ఆన్ చేస్తే ఫోటో తీసుకుంటారు మేడం ఒక ఫోటో
All right. Before we start the questions, I just want to mention like a call for action. I know, like usually, I have done these
ఓకే
kind of seminars before, and everybody receives a certificate. It just says that you have attended the seminar, and it
ఓకే
says that this is a seminar about creating your LinkedIn profile.
ఓకే
So the call for action is, I want you to create a LinkedIn profile as a form of showing that you have attended this seminar rather than certificate, because having a certificate that says that you have attended a seminar about creating a LinkedIn
Feedback,
profile and
feedback,
not having a LinkedIn profile
feedback,
looks very silly. That's
feedback.
exactly what we are talking about, is
After program is
demonstrating
come.
your capabilities by actions rather than
9:45
by
కి
not by just
9:45
saying
కి
that.
Huh?
రిలీజ్
Because
అవుతుంది 9:45.
why do you have a certificate? It is essentially to show someone that you have attended a webinar. And the call for action is, we want, I see that 148 participants, and assuming that maybe around, maybe 30 people or 40 people, 49 people are lecturers. That is a high number, but at least like 100 plus LinkedIn profiles created.
Sorry,
That is the call for action, and that is what I want people to get out of the seminar.
Padmini madam. YouTube live streaming also going on, madam. There are
Okay, thank
120 members are there, madam, in the YouTube live
you.
streaming.
Wow. Yeah, then we should
To-
have 200, at least 200 LinkedIn
300
profiles.
above, madam. Sorry, 300 above, madam.
Yeah, yeah, very good.
Okay, madam.
Awesome.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you. We can take questions now.
Thank you, ma'am. And before going for the questionnaire, we would like to have an announcement. Basically, we are going to give the feedback forms after 9:45, ma'am.
Sulochana madam.
Please fill them and send to us. Then you are going to get your certificates.
Mute,
Yes,
mute,
sir.
mute.
So once again, please fill your feedbacks. There is a disturbance in this.
Mute better.
Ma'am, I'm saying that you should make creating LinkedIn profiles a prerequisite for getting certificates. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly. Don't give certificates to people just by filling a feedback form. Does no good. If you have attended the seminar and really got something out of it, you should be able to go on LinkedIn and create your profile. Then you get a certificate. If you don't create a LinkedIn profile, I think you don't get a certificate. That's it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
That's
challenge
what I'm
for
saying.
you all. Yes, ma'am.
yes,
We
ma'am.
need
We
to
do
accept
accept for that.
It's a
It's
challenge
challenging
for all the
student
students.
stream.
So
So please take it as a challenge to go for the LinkedIn profiles. Please submit to us.
Thank you, ma'am,
Thank you,
for
ma'am,
such
for such
a
a
wonderful idea. And after
after
9:45, you
9:45, you
are
are
going to have that. And before
going for the
questionnaire,
questionnaires,
I would
I
like to
would like
call
to
upon
call upon
our
our
JKC
JKC
coordinator
coordinator
and
and
the
the
NSS
NSS
coordinator
coordinator
to
to
go on
go on
with
with
their
their
questions.
questions. Please.
Hello. Madam, we have with a few questions from the chat box.
Madam, video, camera, correct
First question is to Padmi ma'am. How do we check if an organization is
Alagadu,
new
screen,
or
monitor.
fake while applying for various jobs? Question is
Madam,
previous and finally
దీన్ని మూవ్ చేయండి కొంచెం.
Yeah, I
Madam, let us have the response.
Yeah, I think that is an excellent question. So I know that with online profiles there can be fake organizations. Again, that is where LinkedIn comes
Madam,
into picture. So
కొంచెం
even
అనుకోండి స్క్రీన్.
in the US, for example, people don't even ask to produce any
మానిటర్ ని
previous work experience
మానిటర్ ని
documents.
బెండ్
What they do
చేయమని.
is they look at your LinkedIn profile. If you have worked at a certain place, you must be having connections of people who have worked at that place. So if there is an organization, check how many followers that organization has on LinkedIn, because all major organizations have a LinkedIn profile as well. Not only people, but organizations have LinkedIn profiles, and they constantly post content. So if you do not find enough material and
Madam,
authentic material from the language that is written about the organization, the followers, the posts they make, all of them are telltale signs, and it is very easy to spot something that is a fake organization. So that would be my answer, and I think that is an additional benefit of LinkedIn and any online presence. If it is authentic, it will have high quality content online.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next question is to Shruti ma'am. Okay, it is by S. Abhitna, graduate student. Which resume format is the best to use either chronological, functional, or mixed, and why? This is the question from S. Abidna.
Okay. It depends on the role you're planning to apply to. Definitely, both are right. Chronological and functional, both are right. It depends on the kind of role you're applying to. Actually, I think I don't think any recruiter will choose chronological over functional. Um, if your
వల్గర్గా ఉంటే తీసేయండి.
if your work experience can be put into buckets and made into a functional resume, uh, as I said, right, first make a big list of whatever you have. And if you can make them into buckets, into functional way
Thanks,
of
ma'am.
showing your resume, then go ahead with that. And if you're unable to put it in a functional way, then put it in a chronological way and just, have points one after the other and for your resume. But I think both are right and no uh, one way is not better than the other. Both are right.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Another question is to you. This question is from Ganesh Velagala, graduate student. Ma'am, should we include our
నాదెందుకు
strengths and
రీసౌండ్
weaknesses
వస్తుంది?
in
వాళ్ళది
the
ఎవరిది రాదు, నాదే ఎందుకు వస్తుంది?
small question, ma'am?
అక్కడ ఆన్ చేస్తుంది.
Definitely. Typically,
నేను అదే
they
కదా
are
మ్యూట్
not
చేయండి
included in the resume because
అక్కడ ఆన్ చేశారు.
those are the kind of questions
వాయిస్
which
అక్కడే
come up
పడుతుంది
in
ఇక్కడ
the interview.
అందుకు.
And a resume would be strictly focused on your professional work and achievements.
Madam,
So your strengths and
Surekha
weakness,
Krishna.
even though they're professional, typically don't go into a resume. They are part of an interview process.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Next question is from L. Bhargavi, degree final year student. Ma'am, why do I need to list my work achievements, not just only my duties and responsibilities? Why do I need to list my work achievements, not just my duties and responsibilities?
Okay, that's a very good question actually. Let me say it that way. If there are a team of, if there's a team of 10 people and all 10 people are applying for one job for a different company, all 10 people, if they write their duties and responsibilities, who should get selected, right? So if you're working in your teams, most team members will conduct similar duties and responsibilities. But by writing your achievements, you will make your resume get highlighted, and that's how in that very short amount of time where the company is looking at your resume, it's easy to pick up. Definitely write your responsibilities, but also write the achievement you got through that responsibility. So do a mix of both is what I'm saying. I hope it helps. But do you want to add anything?
I just want to add that like we've been doing this career. For example, I'll just take a very example that is relevant here is if I say I'm a mentor or career coach, that is my duty. I have done career coaching seminars. Do you think, Hemlata ma'am or someone, what would they say? Like, they would not believe me or they would ask more questions. But if I say that I've been doing this for 10 years and over 10 years I have probably mentored more than 10,000 people, and then that talks about the magnitude of impact. So how many people was I able to influence? So that is more effective than just stating that I'm a person doing career coaching seminars. That sounds very bland and that doesn't say anything. That does not provide the complete picture. Have I started yesterday or what is my experience level? It doesn't say anything. So I'm just taking an example of something where if you state the accomplishments and if you state in a quantitative manner as Shruti showed on the slides and during the webinar, you will be able to make a better impact.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, another question is from BVSN Sai Nidhi, an MTech student. Madam, can you tell certain points that can add weight to a resume? if we are MTech students? Madam, can you tell certain points that can add weight to your resume if we are MTech students?
Okay. Um, so
అక్కడ
this question
అది ఆన్ చేసి ఉంది కదా
can be answered in multiple ways. Let me say this. As a student, let me not say MTech student specifically, but as a student, try as much to highlight your projects, your education, and if you want to highlight, if you have really good scores and you want to showcase that, just how we've seen Padmini's score in the starting of this meeting, a 3.8 out of 4 is a score where no, jokes aside, I want to show to the world that I'm a really smart person by showing that I have 3.8 for 4. So, so your scores, so if you did some really good courses inside your college or outside your college, if you've taken any certifications outside, if you've done any projects, if you've done any internships, all that, if highlighted, a student profile becomes really strong. And for an MTech profile, highlight these points, whatever you have from a MTech perspective. I think that would make a profile much more strong. And rather than looking at what profile, how to build up an MTech profile, see what you want that resume to do. If you want to look out for outside roles, then see what that role is expected and tweak your profile accordingly. If you're applying for higher education opportunities, then highlight your projects and what all is needed for that higher education opportunity.
I just want to add something as just additional point to that is that if you are an advanced degree person, let's say MTech or whichever degree that is, advanced degree. So what you would see is that your projects go slightly in more depth than somebody with an undergraduate degree. So that should reflect in the way you write about projects. So typically, an undergraduate student, a bachelor's degree student, spends about few months, 3 to 4 months, whereas someone getting a post like a graduate degree, like an MTech, spends about a year doing a project, and someone getting a doctoral degree would spend 4 years. So the way you write, it's the same section. It says projects, it's the same thing, but the way you write about the project should reflect your, I think, deeper understanding. I think that is the key difference between a bachelor's degree resume and a higher education degree resume is the way how much grasp you have on the material and what you've achieved. Again, it ties back to how you write about the accomplishments.
I think as an MTech student, you have that depth of knowledge to showcase in your projects. That I agree.
మేడం క్వశ్చన్
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is question from Dr. Rajanna Kundlu. What is the difference between resume and curriculum detail? They want to know the difference between resume and curriculum vitae.
Do you want to take that?
I can offer my perspective again. If you add yours as well, because we can add both perspectives. I think a CV is a slightly more detailed document as you gain more experience and somebody with, like, say, 25 years experience. If you write everything you have done, that becomes a CV. But if you, like we discussed, you highlight the things and tailor it to the role that you're applying for, and write in a concise manner, that becomes a resume. So I've seen that some people who have
రామాలయం
like professors or people with a lot of publications, they have about 25 publications, and the resume becomes like too long. So often they highlight the key publications, recent publications, and give a link to their website, and their CV will have everything related to their grants and publications and all the details. And I think the detail is where they differ, and the objective. The objective is whether it is tailored for a specific role or whether it tells everything. Those I think would be the key differences. So you can add additional things.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think I agree, Padmini. I think you mentioned it all. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is from Satyanarayana. What are the keywords and what are the keywords in the resume and how to use them in the resume? What are the keywords?
Okay, when we mentioned keywords in the resume, right? Uh, we said that in terms of the job you're applying to. So in the job description, see what all skill sets are needed for that job. When I said skill sets, I don't mean technical skill sets. It can be like if the job is asking you to be a team player, right? Highlight that as a keyword in your resume. You know, led a team of whatever number of people, worked with a team to achieve so and so. So over here, team team leader or teamwork becomes a keyword. So what I said is not to include a set of keywords in your resume, but what I meant to say is that see the job description of that role, notice that they're asking for certain things, and if you have those skill set, if you've done certain job, try to include those in your resume and try to highlight them in your resume. That becomes the keyword, right?
And
Then
and
also,
I
yeah, go on, go on.
yeah, like Shruti said, keywords is not a separate section, but it is like everything that is there and the words that are highlighted that are typically picked up in a search are called keywords. But you can also utilize the skills section. So you
Yeah.
can have so the various sections in the resume are usually the your which is the summary and then the experiences. Then maybe you'll have your achievements and achievements in terms of any scholarships or something you've received. So you can also have a section that says skills. And like we have seen on the LinkedIn profile, you can add those things as skills, even when you're giving a document form of a resume. So some keywords can be covered in that format, but again, you have to use effective way of writing as well to cover everything. It's really like two parts. But if you're looking for a specific section, skills section would be the place where you cover your technical skills like C programming or data analysis or anything that can also be keywords.
Yep.
Good morning, ma'am. A question from B. Rajanayak, sir. Why LinkedIn? Is there any other platform like LinkedIn? He is asking.
Well, I would say, I mean, Shruti, and after that, so essentially, this is like a social platform. You know, there are other platforms like Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, or there are many things. But again, if you're looking for only professional networking and more like Facebook is for personal, adding your personal contacts, and LinkedIn is only for your professional contacts. So I'm not aware of any other professional networking platform, but I am aware of something that researchers use. It's called ResearchGate. That's only for people who are doing publications. It's very academia oriented. So people upload their papers, their publications, and other researchers can ask questions. It's more like a social platform, which is also professional, but it's mostly used by researchers. ResearchGate, but I have not seen something that is as widely used as LinkedIn. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, I think I agree. So the question of why LinkedIn is because all your all your recruiters, all your jobs, all the people who are offering jobs and the people who are looking for jobs are in that one platform, what which is why it makes it that important to be there because if not, then you have very less chances to look at what are the job opportunities, what are companies, and who all are. Like for example, for myself, if I want to apply for a job, for example, if I want to apply for a job in Google, the first thing I do is go into LinkedIn, type Google, and see who all I know in that company. That's possible only through LinkedIn today, right? See, okay, if I have any friends who are working in Google, so that I can, contact them through LinkedIn and ask them if they can give me a referral in Google. This is all possible only right now, at least today, in this platform, which is why it makes it important to be there, I guess. So,
And again, the answer is in its wide usage. It's so widely used. So the other way you can also use LinkedIn is, for example, you graduated with a DSc or a BCom or whatever degree you get. So you can look at maybe somebody who graduated with the same degree from some other college or university in some other place, maybe in Chennai, or maybe they are in Mumbai or somewhere else. So what are they doing? They have the exact same degree, but they're just from a different college. So it's easy to kind of do a peer research as well. I used to do that a lot when I was searching for jobs. What are other people who are in a similar condition? Where are they working? Where are they getting jobs? So you can just search on LinkedIn and find a whole lot of information just about your peers as well. Peers as in people, other people who are in a similar situation as you.
Next question by Dr. Surita Krishna ma'am. How far the information provided through LinkedIn is in profile is secure? And other one is some profile formats have a question about the previous experience and salary also. How far it is authenticated to ask that type of questions?
The first question I understood, how secure is the information that is posted on LinkedIn, right? And then the second question, so can you help me understand the second question? I didn't understand that salary, you post the salary information on LinkedIn?
Yes, ma'am. Some profile formats have a question about previous experience and salary. How far it is authenticated to ask about the salary you have drawn?
Okay, so yeah, I understood. So let me answer the salary question first. Um, so at least I have not negotiated salaries in India, so maybe Shruti can speak about that. But I have negotiated salaries in the US, and usually when asked about a salary, we are not obligated to mention the salary. We can say, we can just turn the question back and ask them, what do you have the budget allocated, or what is your typical, how much do you pay for someone who is doing this? And there are rules and regulations about equal pay. Person doing a certain work should be paid a certain amount and should not be differentiated whether they are a man or woman. There are rules such as that. So you are not obligated, but you can also give a range. So I can say that, okay, I want to be paid between, say, like 15 to 20 lakh rupees a year. So that is what I'm expecting. You can give not a very specific number, but you can give a range. And when you're giving a range, you have a lower limit and a higher limit as well. You could do that, but there is no obligation, and you can just turn back the question, saying that what are you paying for this role? It is completely valid. You need not disclose your previous salary at all if you don't want to. Coming back to your first question, which is how secure is the information posted on LinkedIn? Um, so information, I take it as your description of work experience or anything. So how secure is the information? People can see it. People can copy it and put it. Use some of the sentences you have used if they want to. But again, remember that the whole point of having LinkedIn is that authentication of your information happens by as in how many people you're connected to and how well you can speak about that work experience. Nobody can claim to do something not done just by writing something. So people can, okay, they can take and copy whatever I have done and put it on their profile, but if they are not able to speak about it in an interview, it tells itself. So I am not very worried about how secure my information is. As in, if you're posting, if you're saying information in terms of your phone numbers, emails, you can all hide that. You don't need to show that. So work experience is pretty much out there for everyone to see. security of that does not matter because nobody can use your work experience if it is not there. And if you're talking about email and other things, you can hide that. And the other thing is, I think you remember how I've showed my profile. My last name is not spelled completely. It just says Padmini L. You can do things like that to also, limit how people search you. You can do that, and you can hide it completely if you don't want to. The emails and the phone numbers can be hidden. Yeah.
Next question by Dr. Razanagar, ma'am. Is there any difference between resume and biodata? Difference between resume and biodata?
I think it is, again, I would confess, honest confession. I mean, I've worked more in the US and less in India. So here, everybody uses mostly resume or CV. I don't think biodata is a word that is very used here. So I assume that it is similar to a CV, but I could be wrong. So I'm sorry, I don't have knowledge about that. So
I don't think in India also we don't use the biodata as such for roles in India as well. Maybe some people call a resume biodata, but the professional name for it is a resume, and that's what we use.
Next question by V. Rajanayak. Is resume common to all departments or should have variation?
It is common to all departments. I mean, can you elaborate on that? Do you mean different departments of education or
roles, I think that roles. So we discussed how the resume can be different about with different roles. That's
okay? Let me take it as different departments of education. Uh, the format of different departments of education might be slightly different, but essentially the purpose of a resume would be similar, and multiple different departments can use the similar approach for a resume. And if you're talking about different departments of applying for a different departments of a company, then yes, your resume, the information you give in your resume to apply for different kind of roles will definitely be different across the departments of a company.
so Shruti, I have a question. As in, I was always curious seeing the various resume formats. I see some people including the name of the father's name or their date of birth on a resume. Is that common or is it required in some places from your experience? Because I have never seen, I will never mention, my dad's name or any kind of passport or birth date on the resume, but I was curious if that is required in some cases. For government jobs in India, is that required?
No, I have not seen that happening a lot. I think um, to be honest, I've not seen that at all. I think even in government positions, I have had people who applied for the government positions in the government of Andhra Pradesh. I've not seen that because people nowadays are very professional. To basically, let's see it in this way: like if you write your parents' names or your date of birth, that's not adding value to the job you're applying. Like it's not giving me more information about your professional career. So please include only aspects which will increase your, which will showcase something about your professional career. According to me, all those points are uh, uh, decreasing your space to write more about your professional career. So they add only things which will add value to your professional career. So we do include email addresses. We do include phone numbers. Why? Because we want the recruiter to email us back. We want them to call back on that number or that email. But that's it. Like no other information is necessary from a personal perspective.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is from Razvila Forum from Pur Village. Ma'am, how far is it practical for the rural students like me to go through LinkedIn and create LinkedIn profiles as we have very low internet signal facilities and other physical barriers as we have? Thank you, ma'am.
I guess I can take that question. So I think maybe the time you have, again, going back to my days in 2001 when I was, the internet was not all that prevalent, and even the money that you have to spend to get an internet connection is very high. I remember those days, and the limitation, it was not internet signal as such, though that was also there, but I mean, you would have internet for about like 30 minutes. That's all you need to create a profile. So I understand that you may not have internet 24/7 like everybody else does in a much more developed area, but it would be hard for me to believe. Now we've been having this seminar and I see like people logged in. It would be hard to believe that you have no internet connection, uh, not even for 30 minutes. So yeah, that's all you need, 30 minutes of internet connection. And you can even like create, it's not very efficient, but though I sometimes have done small changes to my LinkedIn profile through your phone. You can also download an app, LinkedIn app, and you can have it on your phone. And if your phone works on data and not the internet connection, maybe that is also a way, but that is cumbersome. I would not advise that for people, but in a very like drastic scenario where you could have a LinkedIn app as well and make like slight changes once you create your basic profile.
In fact, I think if I think LinkedIn will help in this case because uh, if you are from a rural area, you don't have to be in a urban city to look for jobs through LinkedIn, right? So I think it's the other way. It's beneficial to have a LinkedIn profile if you're in a rural area. If it's limited internet facility, if you can go and make your profile for like spend half an hour, make a very strong profile, and look at the opportunities of jobs in there, and you can apply in any city you want. You don't have to be in a city to apply in a city. That's the whole purpose of having a digital profile, I believe. So that will be helpful.
Great addition.
Madam, next question is from Sekuntala, ma'am. Sanyukta, ma'am. Sorry, not Sanyukta. How to highlight skills on a resume with no work experiences? Okay, like freshers like me. How to highlight skills on a resume with no work experiences?
That's a very important question, especially for this session. Um, the way you can highlight your resume without work experience is look at the project, as I've mentioned before, look at the projects you've done and add more value to the projects you've done. Like give more depth to the projects you've done. And also you can highlight if there's any, in fact, I've done that too. If I didn't have any external projects, if I did any project within any course of mine too. For example, I have a finance course and I did a small presentation in that course. And for that presentation, I had to research so many websites and prepare a paper for that course. So I write that, right? Say whatever you have, highlight that project, highlight the courses you did, and in fact, in order to build up your profile, take this time. In fact, to do more certifications online, you can highlight those certifications online to make your resume stronger. It's okay to not have work experience, uh, but make your profile stronger by highlighting your projects, by doing external certifications, add your current certifications. you mentioned your courses, and I think that's what I have to say. But you have to add anything?
I would add that while doing a project, Shruti mentioned talking about your projects, even as part of a course, if you did your projects. So one thing I want to add is, for example, if you used advanced Excel for doing a certain project, in the skills section you can add advanced Excel. And if you've used C programming to do a particular project, you can add C programming. So this is how students build their resume even without work experience. Your projects are your work experience, and your skills come from whatever tools and things you have learned, the tools or techniques you have learned during the project while in the process of doing the project go into your skills section. So that is a way of, and again, any volunteering activities, like for example, if you have a cultural fest or something, if you have organized a seminar, all that comes under the leadership skills, which you can add on your resume as well. If you have organized a event in your university.
In fact, any external voluntary activities you've done, NSS, any cultural program you've participated in or coordinated, a lot of aspects can come out of that. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have conducted one in my cultural festival. I've conducted a seminar, right? So I not only arranged the whole seminar, which means I have great team management skills, right? So I would highlight that. And I would say I've conducted a seminar for so many people, which means I handled the logistics behind that seminar, right? So I've done a lot of crisis management in that situation. I've led a project. It's like handling a whole project in itself, right? Holding a seminar in a cultural fest. So I would highlight all that in terms of voluntary experience or cultural achievements. And if you feel not only in this particular college in which you studied, if you've done anything in your school as well, which you want to highlight, if you won a badminton competition in the school, batch, whatever, highlight that as in your resume as well.
Ma'am, next question is, what should be the ideal length of your resume? Nowadays, fresh graduates are completing at least 3 projects along with workshops and courses by the time complete their graduation. This is from Dr. Nilima. Question is, what should be the ideal length of your resume?
In India, at least, I've seen a lot of stress on having a one-page resume. Unless you have like 10, 15 years of experience where it's impossible to fix your work experience in one page, right? That's when I've seen a two-page resume, but a one-page resume is most common and ideal. What I've seen.
I would just like to add something. Again, like a shorter resume format is encouraged usually everywhere because as Shruti mentioned in her webinar, like presentation, 6 seconds is all you've got, but you have the opportunity of giving a link to your LinkedIn profile, or if you have a blog, uh, anything that you have, any online presence you have, you can always give a link to that on your resume, and people can always go get more information about it. So that kind of compensates for you provide information in a concise manner, but also the detailed information is available elsewhere. You provide a link to that.
Question from N. Padmavati from MR College, Vijayanagaram. Is there any format to write an resume? We upload our resume. How far is it safe?
As I said, right, you can write a resume in a chronological order by listing down all the points of your work experience or your projects in one particular order, or you can have a functional view to your resume where you can put certain points in one bucket. And if you're writing about, like for example, for me, I worked in three companies. So I put it in three different buckets. I put all the points under of JP Morgan in one place, and then I put all the points of Deloitte in one place. So I break it into three different categories, I would say. Or another way is instead of just write all my companies in one place and then list all my achievements or work experience in a chronological order. So any format you can follow. There are multiple templates to look into online as well and refer to. Um, I think is was there a second part to the question? Did I miss it?
I think it's about the format and back to the things that Shruti mentioned in the webinar is that you make it very clean. I mean, you can follow any format, but it should look very clean, simple, easy to understand, not long paragraphs, but concise bullet points. I think that would be so. The look and feel should be very professional and simple.
I think the second point was how safe is it to upload resumes, right? So depending on the company you're applying to, they have a I mean, most companies have a very secure system where you just upload your resume into their portal and it directly goes into the tracking system, as Padmini said. So even for LinkedIn, Padmini answered the question, right? So maximum people uh, uh, can take your work experience, but even if they do so, they can't pull off a job with that. So we can be rest assured that if we don't give any personal details in it, it's quite safe to upload your resume in most company profiles. And given that we should already do research about the company we are applying to, we should see if it's a valid company, if it's a legal company or not, and then upload our resume. It should be good. We shouldn't have any issues with security.
Yeah, I think on the point of security, there is another reason not to mention your passport numbers, your address, your birthdays. Don't mention them on your resume because all you're mentioning is just an email address, a phone number, and work experience. So work experience people can take, but really they cannot use it. Email, you can always block people. Phone also, unwanted people call, you can block them. Again, go on LinkedIn and look at the company you're applying for. And if you don't find anybody working for that company, you should get suspicious. Don't send resumes to a company that has no people working for it. So that is how you can make it secure by doing an extra little bit of research on it. And don't include any personal. Never include your passport number or things like that. So in the US, we have something called an SSN number that's like you're not supposed to reveal it to anyone. So I think it's similar with Aadhaar card numbers. You don't passport numbers. You should not reveal. And same thing with your home address. Why would you? By knowing your home address, anybody can put that on Google Maps and show up at your door, and you don't want that. So don't put your address anywhere.
Thank you, ma'am. The last and final question is, how can I get to review my resume for errors before I start send up to employers?
That's a very good question.
Is it audible?
Yes, it is. Is my voice audible?
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is audible.
It's a very good question, actually. Uh, First, get your resume reviewed. Obviously, you review it yourself first, and then get it reviewed with your friends. Because you write your resume, right? You might not see some points, And if a third person comes and sees it, he might notice some points, and he or she can give you a perspective which you didn't think of. Because you are so much engrossed in writing the resume, you might miss some aspects.
జనగణ
So
మన
show it to your
పాడేటప్పుడు అందరూ
friends
2 నిమిషాలు
first,
పాడమన్నారు.
and then depending on
నేషనల్ అంటాం. అందరూ
college
నిల్చొని పాడమన్నారు.
facilities, on if the college is
ఆహా,
provides you
అది
mentor, show it
తిప్పేసి
to somebody
నిల్చొని
like a professor or a
పాడమన్నారు.
mentor. And in LinkedIn you have, if you find a connection
మనం అక్కడ
who's
నిల్చున్నాం.
already in that position, in that
Feedback
role,
link పెట్టారా?
show it to them.
ఆల్రెడీ 30 మంది
If
ఇచ్చేశారు.
if you're structuring the resume correctly, so put the answer short, review it with your friends, review it with your professors or mentors, and if you find any connection, a friend or any person who's already in
Copy.
that role, working for the job in which you're applying, get them review your resume as well. So they'll tell you how to write, what all points to include, so that you get selected for that role. So even for that, LinkedIn will be very beneficial.
తీసాంగా గ్రూప్లో పెట్టాంగా వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్లో.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamila madam and Sulochana madam for cooperating with the resource persons. Thank you for the resource person. Ma'am, though there is a little bit disturbance at the starting of the program went on very well with the support of both the resource persons from US, and I hope and we trust from our college that the students team got a mark to grapple the employment opportunities at the global level. I hope this is going to help them a lot. Before going further, we would like to request of the students, please take the challenge of Padmini madam and send your LinkedIn profiles to our college. Already our mails are with you. Please do cooperate with us, and we would like to answer madam. Thank you one and all. And now we had got a very vital, cooperative, and active interactive session from both the resource persons, Padmini madam and Shruti madam. Total program went on very actively.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब.
Please students, take the inspiration from both the resource persons and put your effort to get a colorful future.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
They are very active. Take that activity from them. Be very cautious about our future also. Take them as resource persons. They are not resource persons now. They are now our inspirers. Please. And we thank both the resource persons, Padmini garu and Shruti madam, from the bottom of our heart. So thanks a lot, madam, for making this webinar as so vital in the minds of the participants and also us. Thank you one and all. Thank you, ma'am. And now I request
जनगण मन अधिनायक
national anthem at the conclusion of this program. And already the feedback forms are there in your mails. Please do concentrate on our my beginning.